What's up, guys? Today I am going to just kind of be experimenting with a new type of video, as you can tell by the title, just to sort of get some variety into my cubing videos. So we'll see how this works. Hopefully it'll turn out pretty good. Before I start, I want to just throw some things out there for you guys. As you can probably tell, I'm actually using a different camera than I usually use. I've actually been using it for the past couple videos now. And I really like this camera. It's actually my brother's. The reason why I like it is because it has macro mode, as you guys can probably tell. So you guys can see what I'm doing a lot better than on my older camera, which is nice. Also, I am using my iPod to record the sound because I don't really like the sound from the camera. For some reason it's just kind of distorted and it sounds kind of funny. Hopefully you guys can see the difference, and hopefully it's good enough quality so that you guys can see and hear what I'm doing a lot better. So before we start this method, there's actually a couple prerequisites that you guys are going to need to have. First of all, you need to know how to solve the cube using Fridrich's method. Also, you need to know how to solve the 2x2 cube, because that's going to be a part of this solve as well. Also, another thing that would be nice is that you know a little bit about commutators and how they work. If you don't, that's fine, because the commutators that we're going to be using are very, very simple. So I think I've pretty much explained everything that I need to at this point. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and scramble the cube, and I'm just going to walk through a solve here and kind of explain the different cases that I'll have and how to go about using this method. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is solve the cube as if it were a 2x2. So in other words, you're just going to solve the corners, and that's a pretty simple process. There you go. So at this point, you're ready to solve all of the edges, which is the bulk of this method. For the sake of simplicity, I am going to use a beginner's method approach and just solve it layer by layer so that it's easier for you guys to understand what I'm doing. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is just look for white edges. Of course, there's going to be 4 of them that we need to solve, and again, for the sake of simplicity, I'm pretty much just going to be doing one edge at a time. So right off the bat here, I see a green and white edge that I can easily place using a U-Perm. If I turn the cube like this and use a clockwise U-Perm, you can see that it solves that edge. So that was pretty much one of the easiest cases you'll ever encounter with this method, because it had no setup moves, and all you had to do was that one U-Perm. So here I see the blue and white edge. This is a little bit tougher of a case because you have to put this edge way over here, and so it might seem a little confusing. What you're going to want to do here is use a real quick setup move. We're just going to do a U2 so that this blue matches up with the blue corners. You might be able to see it already, but what we're going to be doing is a U-Perm so that we shift this blue edge over here so that it matches up with its corners, and then we can undo the setup move and it will be solved. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. And undo the setup move, and there you go. That's basically how this whole method is going to work. We're just going to be doing those setup moves, doing a U-Perm, and then undoing the setup moves. And that's how we're going to go about solving pretty much the rest of the cube. So it's really not that difficult. It's just a matter of figuring out what to do in each situation. So the next edge that I see here is this white and red edge. It actually needs to go up here. So what I'm going to do here is a little bit more tricky than last time. The setup move that I'm going to do is still pretty simple though. I'm just going to put it up next to this red center. I'm going to match red to red. This way I can easily use a counterclockwise U-Perm, and it's solved. And now the important step is to undo your setup moves like that. So in this case, the last white edge, all I have to do is move this edge up here, match it with its orange center, and then go ahead and do another U-Perm, and it'll be solved, and I can bring this back down, and we have the first layer solved. So the next step would be to solve this middle layer right here, and what I'm going to want to do is look at the bottom layer for edges that don't have this color on them. So I want to look for non-yellow edges, and as you can see here I only have one. What I want to do is take this edge and match this color with its center. So I want to match blue to blue, and from here I can do a real simple U-Perm to solve it. So now we're going to go and look for another edge. Here we have one right here, and I'm going to swing it around so that it matches with the orange center, and I'm going to do a U-Perm to put it in here in this slot. But wait a minute, I have an edge right here that's already solved. I don't want to mess that up. So what do? You're actually going to use the same concept that you would in F2L, which is you're just going to hide this edge real quick and replace it with this dummy edge so that you can do a U-Perm and solve this edge, and then you can bring this back down. So I'm going to do that real quick. So that one's solved, and I bring this one back down, and everyone is happy. So all I have left here is this last edge. I match red to red, and then I need to swing this one over here, and of course I need to use a dummy edge on that side, and then execute that U-Perm. So that one is solved, that one is solved, and the first two layers are now solved. Now there's a lot of different cases that you'll have for this last layer. Most of the time you're actually going to have to orient two edges like this, and that can be pretty tricky. This is where I had the most trouble, but it's actually very, very simple. What we're going to be doing is a commutator, and this commutator only affects these two edges. It's just going to flip this one and flip this one, and that's exactly what we need to do here. So the commutator that we're going to use again is very simple. We're just going to do an M slice, and then from here we just do a clockwise U-Perm and then reverse that M slice. As you can see, we have the yellow face completely oriented. At this point all you're going to have left is either another U-Perm or an H-Perm or a Z-Perm. In this case I have the Z-Perm. So just do that real quick and the cube is solved. Now like I said, there are a lot of different cases that you'll have for your last layer. In this particular case we have two edges that need to be flipped, but instead of being adjacent they're opposite of each other. So how do we fix this case? We're actually going to be using the same commutator, but first we have to make these adjacent to each other. And that's really simple. All we have to do is a U-Perm to make them adjacent. And now from here we can just use that commutator real fast, and from here we just do one last U-Perm and the cube is solved. So that's pretty much it, guys. It's pretty good timing because my battery's almost dead. Hopefully this was useful to you guys in any way. Hopefully you guys liked it, and hopefully I was able to explain it well enough for you guys to understand. Again, this method was basically just to kind of open you up to commutators and how they work and how to use them in your favor when you're solving a cube. It doesn't have to be a 3x3, it can be pretty much any type of puzzle. Commutators are a very powerful thing that you want to know how to use to your advantage. So anyway, that's pretty much it, guys. Again, I hope you liked this video. If you liked it, leave a comment, give me suggestions for any other videos that you guys want to see. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.